Did you know that Canada has one of the largest and most successful immigration programs in the world? Every year, 3 types or categories of immigrants come to Canada. There are those we select for their skills and education to work in Canada and help build our economy. There are people who come to join their families. And there are people who need protection, like refugees fleeing torture or persecution in their home countries. That's who we accept as immigrants to Canada. The number we accept every year depends on several things. What kinds of workers will help our economy grow? What jobs are available that are not being filled by Canadians? What is the state of the Canadian economy? And what supports are available to help immigrants succeed when they get here? To help answer these questions, we rely on research and talk to a wide variety of people, including provincial and territorial governments. We also talk to experts, including business leaders, trade associations, and immigrant groups. And we talk to people who provide services such as English and French language training directly to newcomers. We take other factors into consideration as well. Things like Canada's proud humanitarian tradition in being a safe haven for those fleeing torture and oppression, as well as Canada's population growth. Today, Canada needs legal immigration to keep our economy strong. As with other countries with aging populations and low birth rates, in the not-too-distant future, Canada will not have enough people to keep our workforce growing. Yes, the majority of new entrants to our labor force will continue to come from within Canada, such as recent graduates. But as the baby boomers retire, our economy is going to rely increasingly on newcomers for labor force growth. Without immigration, the size of our workforce will begin to shrink. All these considerations add up to a number, or rather a range of numbers, on how many immigrants we will accept each year. In recent years, on average, we have accepted about 250,000 new immigrants per year. That's almost 1% of our population. Everyone who wants to immigrate to Canada is assessed fairly, regardless of their country of origin, race, religion, or gender. People who have committed serious crimes, or who belong to a terrorist organization, or who pose a serious health threat are obviously not allowed into Canada. All immigration applications are considered on a case-by-case basis, on the specific facts presented by the applicant in each case. Let's take a look at those numbers again. If we break them down a little more, almost 2/3 of immigrants who come to Canada each year are economic immigrants and their dependents. Economic immigrants are chosen because of what they can contribute to the Canadian economy. They include provincial nominees, people nominated by either provinces or territories to meet their specific economic and labor market needs. Economic immigrants also include skilled workers and entrepreneurs, the self-employed, and certain temporary workers and students we'd like to have stay in Canada after their work placements or studies are over, so that they can continue to contribute their skills to our economy. As I said, this group also includes dependents, including spouses and young children of the economic immigrants. Another group of immigrants who come to Canada each year are family class immigrants. These are spouses and partners of people already living in Canada, or children, dependents, or parents or even grandparents. Under Canada's immigration program, thousands of parents and grandparents are reunited with their families. Most countries don't have a family class program. Ours is one of the most generous in the world. Canada also welcomes immigrants each year for humanitarian or related reasons. A good number of those are refugees who come under the auspices of the United Nations. And every year, thousands are admitted as privately sponsored refugees. They receive support from their sponsors, not the government, who help them settle into their new life in Canada. In fact, of all the refugees resettled through the UN, Canada is proud to take 1 in every 10, more than almost any other country in the world. Canada selects immigrants based on objective criteria: what they can contribute to the economy, whether they have family members here, or whether they are refugees fleeing torture and persecution. And everyone, regardless of country of origin, is eligible to apply to immigrate to Canada if they meet these objective criteria. However, over the years, the countries of origin of immigrants have changed. Most immigrants to Canada today come from China, India, and the Philippines. Together, newcomers from those 3 countries make up almost a third of our overall intake of immigrants. That's a big change from the 1980s and early 90s. Over time, if a region or country has a growing number of people who want to immigrate to Canada, and a large number of these people meet our selection criteria, then we will accept a large proportion of immigrants from those regions and countries. We adjust accordingly. The number of immigrants Canada welcomes each year doesn't include 3 groups. It doesn't include the tourists and visitors from abroad, to whom we grant approximately 1 million temporary resident visas and who only want to come to Canada for a short stay. Nor does it include the temporary foreign workers and students who come to Canada to fill short-term labor market needs or to study. It also does not include what some estimate to be around 80,000 to 120,000 illegal immigrants currently in Canada. They may have come as tourists or clandestinely and then never left the country. In order to ensure that our immigration system is fair to those who have immigrated to Canada the legal way or may want to in the future, the Government of Canada will take every step to send illegal migrants back to their country of origin once they have exhausted their legal appeals. One more number. 85% of immigrants eventually become Canadian citizens. By becoming citizens, they become full members of our community, as do most of their kids.
Thanks. Congratulations.
Our history becomes their history. Our past becomes their past. And our future becomes their future. Immigration has always been a part of our story. Canada's first Prime Minister, Sir John A. Macdonald, was himself an immigrant from Scotland. Immigrants have risked their lives to defend Canada, strengthen our economy, enrich our culture, and uphold freedom, democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. In Canada, if you work hard and play by the rules, you'll succeed. That's why Canada is a great country to live in. Immigrants are helping to keep it that way.